I know that ain't true. And even though I want it all, I'm young man and I got everything to lose. I'm young man and I got everything to lose. I'm young man and I got everything to lose. I'm young man and I got everything to lose. I'm young man and I got everything to lose. She try to tell me that the world is mine.
Guys, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. Today we're going to take a look at a fragrance from the house of Cherche Midi. This one is called Number 30 or Eau Hiver, which means winter water. Now, this is a house that I learned about from my relationship with Decant Shop. Adriana at Decant Shop got a bunch of their fragrances and she sent me a bunch of samples, and I was pretty impressed by what I smelled. Some seemed a little generic, but there were a few that I looked at as really serious scents, and so I sort of jotted down the ones that I should pick up at some point. And then what actually happened is that they had this really great deal where they were selling 100 ml bottles of 3 of their most popular scents for $165. They then dropped it down to $110, and that was a great deal. And then they lowered the price to $55 for the 3 fragrances, and I jumped. And there were 3 fragrances included in the scent. The first one was called Nantucket, which is a really nice sort of driftwood and lavender fragrance. And then there was one called Cashmere Noir, which is a really sort of nice, cozy, gourmand vanilla fragrance, and this one. So before we talk about Eau Hiver, let's talk about Cherche Midi. This was a house that was started when 2 fragrance industry veterans, Cecilia Hua and Nathan Molinsky, got together and realized that they really disliked the marketing ploys in the industry, and they really wanted to put a laser-like focus on what was actually in the bottle instead of the bottle. So they put together 2 initial collections, a spring-summer collection and an autumn-winter collection. And these scents, for the most part, are all pretty simple. They're numbered, but they do have a descriptive name. And if you like one of their fragrances, there are several different formats that you can actually purchase it in. You can get a sample spray for $5, which is a good way to try the scent. You can get a fragrance cube, which is their version of a reed diffuser. Basically, it's a bottle like this, and then you stick a slotted or threaded wood sort of block into the fragrance, and the wood absorbs the scent and sort of diffuses through that. Or you can get 100 ml of EDT for $110, or 100 ml of EDP for $225. So I think it's a great way to offer a lot of different options of a scent to customers. Now, as far as Cecilia Huyu, I just wanted to mention that she also just recently did Charlatan Marceration's latest scent called Asphalt Rainbow, so I'm really eager to check that one out as well. This one, Eau Hiver, is from Cherche Midi 2012 Fall and Winter collection. And the notes on this one are chilled pink grapefruit, Sicilian bergamot, Japanese shisho, white birch, and vetiver. It is available in the formats that I just mentioned, or you can still pick up that 3 fragrance set, which is now back up at $165. So if you even think you might like one of the other 2 in that set, it works out to be a pretty good deal. Now, as far as your presentation goes, this one actually did come in a nice sort of purple box with the 3 fragrances in it and a card that described each fragrance. And your bottle is just a cube. So real minimalism. It has a little symbol on the front. You have your sticker on the bottom, which says the number and the name of the fragrance, a clear plastic top, and just a pretty normal atomizer. Now, I believe if you buy the fragrance for $110, it comes with a wooden cap as opposed to this clear acrylic or plastic one. But you know, I stack these, I put these 3 together on my niche shelf, and I have to say they do look very nice, all sitting next to each other, sort of like ice cubes. I actually do like this presentation. Now, as far as fragrance goes, this one is beautiful. Really beautiful. If you, like me, are a fan of grapefruit, then you need to add this to your collection because this is different than any grapefruit that I've smelled at any price point. You know, lots of people have their grapefruit grail scents. A lot of people think it's Pampaloon by Guerlain. For me, it's this one. I don't know how the perfumer made this happen, but the grapefruit note does smell like iced grapefruit, like a halved grapefruit sitting on top of ice. And I get that the idea was to make this smell like a winter morning, and I get that. And where this fragrance ingenious really lies is that it combines the very cooling grapefruit with a nice crisp green note, which is that Japanese shisho leaf. So it's really fresh at the top, and then there's this touch of vetiver and white birch, which supplies a nice base for the scent to sit atop of. So guys, not that complicated. What you need to think about when you visualize this scent is iced, almost sugared pink grapefruit. Then you have this very green component with a touch of soapiness from the shisho resting atop a bed of birch and vetiver. And while the grapefruit is really intense and loud at the opening, as the scent progresses, it blends in with the bergamot. It starts to become fairly green through the scent progression, and eventually we get to a woody vetiver scent with the tart citrus still present. I get really good performance out of this fragrance. 6 to 8 hours, which I think is very good for an eau de toilette. I just want to make sure this is an eau de toilette. Yeah, it actually doesn't say in the bottom, but I'm fairly sure it is an eau de toilette. It projects quite well, gives a decent sillage bubble. Definitely a unisex scent. This one is for anyone who just loves grapefruit, and I think you can wear this one any time of year, even though it seems like it's probably better suited for the summer based off the note breakdown. This is a fragrance that was supposed to replicate a jaunt through the forest in the winter, so you do get this sort of very chilly and icy vibe from this one, which makes it really refreshing and effervescent, even in the cold. And really on any occasion, you can wear this one. It's an occasion whore. You can wear it to work, casually, out at night. It really is a jack of all trades, which is one of my favorite things about it. Now, if you can get this one, or are looking for something comparable, there's not much out there in my opinion. Pampaloon, Aqua Allegoria by Guerlain is a very good grapefruit scent. So is Pamplemousse Rose by Hermes, but both fall flat to my nose in comparison to this. If you are looking for a fragrance with a birch note, of course Aventus gives you a nice sort of fruity birch vibe. And Aventus is sort of a distant cousin to this scent with the fruit and the birch, but I have to say this one's really unique and stands on its own. I think if someone were trying to talk you into buying number 30, they would say that it's great value if you snag it with the other two. It's really unique, picture perfect grapefruit note that blows everything else out of the water. Really minimalist whole design from scent to packaging with this house, and a lot of passion put into this one by the creators. I think if someone were trying to talk you out of this one, I think they'd say if you don't like grapefruit, well then this one isn't going to be for you. And you know, you might also say, how do I buy this one? Because when is it going to hit its lowest price? And why ever pay full price if you think it might drop down to that low of a price again? I really like Cherche Midi, and when Adriana told me she was going to send me scents from this house, I was skeptical. I hadn't heard much about Cherche Midi, and what I heard wasn't all that great. But they really have won me over, and I hope to see more from them. I haven't seen many new scents from them in a while, as they failed to do a 2014 fall and winter collection, and I hope we haven't seen the end of this line, because this is some serious talent amassed here. I'm a grapefruit guy. I think this is the best grapefruit scent going, and I'm going to give number 30 L'Eau Hiver a 9.5 out of 10. That's how good I think this scent is. The only beef that I have with it at all is that for a winter scent, it's a tad bit lacking in the performance department. And if you look at the scents that I've awarded 10 out of 10s to, Roadster, Zing, Geranium Pour Monsieur, Fahrenheit, for me, those guys are all performance beasts. And this one just isn't on that level. But everything else, price, presentation, scent, is just perfect, and you need to check this one out if you haven't. And don't be afraid to purchase Nantucket and Cashmere Noir with this fragrance, because all three of them are really, really unique and really well done. So guys, that has been my review of L'Eau Hiver number 30 by Cherche Midi. We'll be back next week with more videos, of course. I obviously
I got everything to lose. I'm young and I got everything to lose. I'm young and I got everything to lose.
She trying to tell me that the world is mine, but you know it ain't true. You know it ain't.